Previously on Controversial Conversation.
We are putting people in prison, taking away their freedoms, because they put a substance in their body? We have got to do better. And we have got to recognize that there's a problem. That's the first step, admitting it. And then we need to start working on more solutions.
I think it's 50-50. I think the audience has to take accountability for the fact that they know that what I'm speaking has to be verified for themselves. They know that if they are going to recite what I am saying back to people as gospel, then they need to recite it on the merits of what I'm saying versus the merit of how they feel about me. So I think that's the 50% for them, and it's 50% for myself to make sure that I never disseminate misinformation and I never lead people with a biased agenda to get them to believe or think that I want them to think.
I want to tell you where you yourself, if you are in a surrounding area, can go check out a Juneteenth event. Now, if you happen to be in Houston, Philly, Chicago, Denver, Seattle, Harlem, Jacksonville, Charlotte, Baltimore, and many, many other major cities, there are Juneteenth events throughout your city. Go check one out. And the fact of saying that this happened 160 something years ago or whatever, yes, slavery might have ended then. But let's talk about other situations that have been a direct result from the conscious evolution, I would say, of white people due to post-slavery. And that is the dehumanizing of African Americans in every way that they can find. Privatize prisons, like, we need some more merchandise. Cops, like, fuck them. They don't even deserve their rights. We'll send them all to y'all, but for the perfect price. So how is this not slavery when you can still purchase life? See, I'd be nervous, like, scared to even park on the curb at night. So coming together is a must. So many angry feelings filling up the heart until it busts. We're on the cusp of the point of no return. Instead of joining up to learn, we refuse to discuss. I just remember that vibe. I wanted to catch it again. And I just really wish that there was a way that we could bring back that vibe, man, that feeling. Just the feeling of being crazy, sexy, cool, TLC.
We are, at this moment, ready for the revolution. And I leave it with this. Understand that just because our eyes are open, it does not mean we are awake.
Welcome to my talk show. 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 And we're on live.
Yo, 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 what it do though? Welcome back to what will be the last episode of Controversial Conversation of the season though. Yeah. We are going to be taking a little break to work on a few other things. If y'all recall, I told you I was dropping an album which will be coming out later this month on August 28th, and I got a lot more work that I need to do before I can complete it and put it out. So we decided we were going to do 10 from the beginning, and here we are. And I just want to say, man, I'm so grateful for y'all, man. Just being there, just listening, just taking time, paying attention, and just rocking with us over here. That means so much to me. And I hope that you truthfully have enjoyed each one of these episodes as much as I've enjoyed making them and bringing them to you. So on today's episode, there's a few things that I want to talk about, but before I get to that, I want to give a special, and I mean this, a special happy birthday to the Green Bay Packers, y'all. It was August 11th, 1919, 100 years ago, that the greatest sports franchise of all time was erected. Oh my goodness, y'all. So many memories of just at least the past 25 years of my life. I've literally been a Packers fan, fanatic, cheese guy since a knee high, cheesehead, whatever you want to call it. I love them. Go Pack Go, all of that. Far to Rodgers, I've been blessed. I've been grateful to be able to watch just legends sling that pigskin for the past 25 fucking years. And you know what, man? Here's to another 25, 50, 75. As long as I'm here, I'm going to be watching them. But, yeah. But aside from that, man, there's been a lot of shit that's been going on lately. And it wouldn't be right if I didn't at least address something. So, if y'all have been keeping up with the files and the cases and stuff of that, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein, one of the nastiest motherfuckers that's probably ever walked this earth, well, he was going down for pedophile charges, y'all. But not just that, sex trafficking pedophile charges. And he was connected to some of the wealthiest and I guess you could say elitist individuals on the earth. We're talking British royalty, we're talking presidents, foreign diplomats, things like that. Yeah. And two very, very prominent figures that he has been connected to are the Clintons, particularly Bill Clinton with his nasty perverted ass, and Fuckboy 45 with his old nasty perverted ass. And the thing is, there's a lot of conspiracies out here that are saying that the Clintons have just added another name to their political hit list. And I'm not going to literally get on camera and say that's what happened. What I am going to say, though, is it is very ironic and very weird how somebody who was on suicide watch in a federal penitentiary could commit suicide when he's about to be put on trial for one of the biggest cases that's, ever happened as far as the sexual magnitude of it, like literally trafficking and pedophilia. So when we had those kind of circumstances arise, I'm not calling myself a conspiracy theorist or anybody who would lean towards this is some bullshit. I would not call them conspiracy theorists. I would call them just skeptical and right to be so. Because we need to literally be skeptical of this situation. And we need to be skeptical of what might come within the next couple of days. It could be a false flag operation that literally is a cover-up or something to detract from the nastiness that is about to come out. Because the people who were implicated within this are very high up. So that is a serious situation that is going on. And that's something that y'all should really be monitoring. I know I'm not going to be here to keep y'all up to date with it. Or maybe I will. I don't know yet. But, other things. So as far as what we're going to talk about today, so I'm pretty sure y'all have heard this term, identity politics. And what my understanding is of it is that it's when we kind of detract and obfuscate away from the substance of politics, like the policy of things, like figuring out legislation, like understanding what our politicians do and stuff like that. And we kind of substitute it for a whole bunch of nonsense, like, well, since you're black, you probably had it rough, so this is the way that, I can help you. Or since you're white, you probably don't understand this and stuff like that. And we don't really talk about, like, politics. We talk about who we are as people. It's a lot of demographic mudslinging. And it doesn't necessarily have to be on a personal level. It can be collective as well. You see, the Democrats, to me, they choose pet projects. Like, it was the blacks at one time that the Democrats were just enamored with, and he's like, we gotta do everything we can. We're gonna put all of our resources and everything because we love them, and that's who we need to get behind. And then it became the gay movement and getting gay rights, and that became the number one thing that Democrats were fighting for. And now it appears to be not just gay rights, but like the whole LGBTQ community seems to be the Democrats' newest pet peeve, and attempting to protect them from ostracization, I guess you would say, or from persecution, or from people criticizing them. Like, if you criticize in any type of way, then there's a lot of Democrats that will come out, a lot of liberals that will come out to chastise you for doing such. Now, the thing is, though, when it comes to identity politics, it's not just on the left. It is pretty prevalent on the right. And the two that I really want to talk about today are left and right. Not necessarily the identities of left and right, but you can put them on a political spectrum. And you could say that the left uses this a lot as an identity politic to detract from what people are saying, and you can say that the right uses this as a political detractor to not talk about the actual things at hand. And for the left, it is a term that they have phrased Islamophobia. And it's where any critique of anything that is Muslim background or whatever is Islamophobic, is hate speech, is hatred, rather than being able to address things that Muslims have done that might be wrong. And on the right, it's the term anti-Semitism. And it's where any critique of Israel, Zionism, or the Jewish culture is looked at as just hate. There's nowhere in the middle. It's like either you are an anti-Semite or you don't say anything. And what I want to talk about today is how you can actually criticize people within both faiths without actually having to be prejudiced about the faith. And I think we've gotten to a point now where we feel that if we say certain things, we can't actually talk about what we mean when we say that, because people are so defensive just by hearing the thing that we said in the first place. And for me, I love context. I've always loved context, because a lot of the things that I say might come out as abrasive or off the cuff or just eccentric, but when broken down, you can be like, oh yeah, I get that. But we don't even get to that part anymore. We're so quick to just get so defensive when somebody says something to us, and we just shut down the whole conversation. And that was the point of what controversial conversation was going to be about. So I'm glad that we made it here to episode 10, but I'm kind of sad we're not doing this weekly anymore, at least till December 15th. But anyways, what do you got for me, man? How do you criticize Israel without being prejudiced or racist? Interesting question. So, what I want to talk about is a separation between criticizing the Jewish religious faith and everything that they've gone through as far as, the Holocaust and whatever they want to say that happened in the Bible. Y'all know how I feel about the Bible, so we ain't going to get into it. But I'm just saying, so as far as the Jewish faith goes, this is not a critique on the Jewish faith, even though Zionism is a part of what broke off of the original Jewish faith and became another aspiration. But see, that aspiration is political in ambition. So you can critique a political movement of a religious, faith without actually being prejudiced. You can talk about the forced occupation, and you can talk about the illegal settlements that the Israel government, if you would, Netanyahu and all these people, that when they're breaking humanitarian and UN laws and continuously taking more and more land and basically shooting and killing citizens, which are war crimes, when you point those out, that is not you taking a shot at people who are Jewish. That is you literally saying that you can tell for a fact the Israeli government has committed war crimes. Like, they've literally committed war crimes, and for us to point that out is not anti-Semitic. For us to say that we support BDS, which is a peaceful, non-violent movement which just attempts to restore the humanitarian rights to the Palestinians by doing things like boycotting, divesting, and putting on sanctions. I'm just saying, when you say these kind of things, people get up in arms. You literally have states in the United States, not Israel, but in the United States, that are putting laws in that will prevent you from being able to get government contracts if you support BDS, which is clearly a violation of free speech. But it doesn't matter anymore, because when it comes to these things, they want to protect these people rather than allow you to say what's going on. And what's going on is the Palestinians are being treated so unfairly that not speaking out is just wrong. Okay, I get it. Now, when it comes to what they're doing in response, it does seem like, okay, well, they're also part of this problem. That's true, but in response. Like, if you continuously break the laws that are set, and you continuously push back and continuously force them out and take more and more away from them and then exclude them from certain things, then yeah, there's going to be a backlash. I don't understand, how there wouldn't be. Like, what are you expecting to happen? You to just, shoot them at the gates, you to bomb them and stuff like that, and then it's like, well, it is what it is. Nah. You will create more and more terrorists by bombing them and killing them than you will by actually trying diplomacy. Now, I'm not saying go talk to ISIS, because they're probably clearly at a state right now where they don't want to have that conversation. But what I am saying is that literally allowing Israel to do what they do while we continuously supply them with more and more aid, and while they have things that we're kind of wishing we had, such as tuition-free college and stuff like that for the people, it's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It's stupid. But the minute you say Israel and then ... you're automatically an anti-Semite. Anti-Semite? You somebody who doesn't like Jewish people. And that's just not true. And that's something that I think we have to stop doing. And that's on the right. On the right, I think y'all really, really need to understand that any critique or any criticism of Israel is not always or necessarily hate speech. Y'all can't keep doing that. That shit is just stupid, okay? Because not once did I use any type of stereotype or trope to address what I'm talking about. I'm just saying the things that we have reported on, the things that we can literally see as evidence and data, support the fact that Israel has done things that we ourselves know to be wrong, yet we continue to aid them and we continue to protect them when it comes to anybody speaking about them. Even Marq Hill was kicked off of CNN because he went to a UN council meeting, I believe, and said that basically Palestinians deserve rights. And it came off as anti-Semitic. Like, all he did was tell the truth, yet he was being, ostracized for no other reason than the fact that you guys don't think that Palestinians deserve rights, and you think that by us saying that, we're saying Israel somehow doesn't deserve rights either. And that's not the same thing. I think you're conflating things, I think false equivalencies, and I think y'all are full of shit when it comes to this issue. But it's not just y'all. Alright, I'll give you an example. So, y'all remember a few years back, there was Sam Harris, neurosurgeon, self-proclaimed atheist, one of the Four Horsemen. He went on Bill Maher's show, and him and Bill were speaking about Islam, and they were speaking about jihadism, and basically a religious mission to, basically kill people. And that's in the context of how they were speaking about it. And there was Ben Affleck on the other side of the panel, and he was basically telling them, no, that's racist, that's wrong. Like, how can you say that? That's Islamophobia. And I disagree with Ben. I'm not saying I completely agree with Sam and Bill, but I understand what they were saying. They were literally saying that just that strict belief is a ridiculous belief. And if it's actually causing harm, where you're literally killing people for drawing pictures of a prophet, or where you're blowing up, buildings for no other reason than to fulfill your religious mission, then that is a barbaric thought. That is something that deserves to be ridiculed. The thought, that belief, deserves to be ridiculed. Not the faith, not the people who practice it. So it's not Islamophobic to say that, but a lot of leftists, a lot of liberals, and a lot of Democrats would literally jump on people, especially at that time, but would literally jump on people for any critique that they make. But the sad thing is, and I didn't want to have to do this, but the right does it too. They don't use the word Islamophobia, but what they will do is hide behind certain countries, and then when you talk about that country, then they won't really allow you to make real critiques about it. Like, Saudi Arabia is somebody that we just gotta talk about, alright? So MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, the millennial crown prince who is running things, from the get-go has been on some other shit, right? So my man's literally rounded up his family, like the cousins and everybody that was related to him, to make sure that he could be the next person to succeed and get the crown, right? This dude literally, even though it was in like Ritz-Carlton, I believe, was just rounding up people to literally make sure he got the crown. And we know this. But now that he has it, it's like, all right, cool. What are you going to do? And what he's going to do is things that we thought were revolutionary. He's like, oh man, women can drive now. And when you think about just me saying that, like, women can drive now, it's like, that's stupid. They should be able to drive. But they weren't allowed to. But the fucked up part, because it's a bittersweet thing, is sweet. Yeah, they finally get the ability to whip around the corner and stuff, but the fucked up part is the women who were campaigning and protesting for this, well, apparently they were rounded up, locked up, or killed. So he basically got rid of all the females who were fighting for this, so they didn't even get a chance to literally participate in what they brought up. It's just stupid. And my other, like, really biggest gripe, I mean, there's a lot of things. All right, well, my two biggest gripes. My first biggest gripe is how the right refused to stop sending assistance even after Jamal Khashoggi, the journalist that was killed, literally came up with a way to have a cover-up, literally had a body double and some other shit. Like, that's literally what the Saudi Arabian government did. They tried to cover that thing up, and literally we continue to sell arms because our president is in love with the Saudi money. He loves it. So we have a problem as far as that goes. And he also, neglected to put them on his travel ban. You remember that? He said he was going to do a Muslim travel ban before he became president, then it just became the travel ban. But basically, he excluded Saudi Arabia. But Saudi Arabia was the country that participated in 9/11. Right, so we're trying to figure out, like, why would this country, of all countries, not be on the travel ban, but these other countries who have not participated in any type of actual terroristic events on American soil were left out. It's weird, and it's the right's way of protecting Saudi Arabia, even though they're committing crimes just like Israel is. Because politics in America are not about making America great again. They're not about making America better again. They're about getting as rich as you can by manipulating the laws and fighting it along the way. So we don't have a democracy or really a constitutional republic because we don't follow the Constitution. Like the Fourth Amendment's consistently being, violated every day with warrantless searches. The Sixth Amendment due process is being an afterthought when people are being killed in the streets for no other reason, by the police. Like, we're not literally following anything that we consider to be America. So, with that being said, what are we doing? Where are we going to go? You see, I talked about identity politics, but the funniest part about it all is we don't even have an identity for ourselves. We believe that, it's us against them, but it's always a different us against them. Sometimes it's race, sometimes it's religion, sometimes it's class. But we have to realize we don't need to fight ourselves anymore. Like, we don't have to keep fighting each other. We can build each other up rather than tear each other down. We can literally start taking care of ourselves. These politicians, for the most part, aren't trying to. You watched the Democratic debate, and you saw what that was. Do you honestly believe that anybody up there has a chance at saving this, at fixing this, at doing any type of damage control? Me neither. So what we need to do is we need to figure out how we're going to do this on our own, and we need to become stronger that way. But fighting with each other about identity politics, that's not going to be something that helps. It's going to be something that hinders. And we got to stop it, y'all. And that's for the left, and that's for the right. Straight up. Okay. Yo. Straight up, man. Straight up. Happy 46th birthday to you, hip hop. Damn, I love you. You are the love of my life. And I am so grateful that we have been able to share the past 30 years together. And I hope for another 30, 40, or 50 more with you. I love hip-hop. I am so grateful for hip-hop. It raised me. No offense to mom and pops. Thank y'all for everything you did for me. But I'm just saying, hip-hop is me. Hip-hop is a part of me. It is my life. I love it. The culture, everything about it is something that I will forever cherish. So, on this day, 46 years ago, DJ Kool Herc decided to throw a back-to-school party for his little sister. And it was at 1520 Sedgwick in the Bronx. And it was at that moment that we crowned the time hip-hop was born. And there's times that, hip-hop probably was around before that. But what we consider to be hip-hop's birthday is August 11th, 1973. And with that being said, I just want to let y'all know certain things about hip-hop that I just truthfully love, that I just want to kind of talk about. So I want to give a shout out to, obviously, DJ Kool Herc, but also Africa Bambaataa and Grandmaster Flash. These are considered to be the holy trinity of the creation of what we consider to be hip-hop today. And they each were instrumental in doing different things. And I'm going to leave a little bit of information in the description for y'all if y'all want to read that, or if y'all want to go to a couple links. But if y'all remember that book that I showed you in the very, very, very first episode, I believe it was, This Day in Hip Hop History, well, that book explains everything there is to know about history of hip hop, but it also was instrumental in showing me that so many rappers just don't get a shout out anymore. Like, we've gotten to a point where we don't really pay homage to the legends. And that's an issue that I really have with a lot of today's rappers. They tend to believe that it's just a bunch of bullshit that was made prior to when rap was cool. And that's just not true. Rap's always been dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, ever since the first rap song came on the radio, Sugar Hill's Rapper's Delight, ever since then, like, rap's just been dope, but it just might not be your cup of tea, but that doesn't mean that you gotta disrespect the people who pioneered this, the ones that paved the way for your ass. And that's just what I want to do, man. The 70s and the 80s, well, late 70s, 80s, and 90s, y'all y'all deserve a lot of respect, man. The Run DMCs, even the Beastie Boys, I don't really fuck with them like that, but apparently they're part of hip hop. But, you know, the Public Enemies, the Tribe Called Quest, NWA, like, just the countless people who have made it just that much more. Just thank you. Like, I love y'all, man. I'm so sorry that we've gotten to a point where it seems like we don't pay attention to what y'all have done. But just know that there's still some of us holding it down, still loving it, still rocking with y'all. But I will say this, there are some people of the newer generations that have definitely been being a bridge from old to new and holding on to a lot of what we call the golden era and that spirit of what rap was when it was kind of at its height. Even though right now there's so many rappers and there's so many ways that they're being creative with it, I'm not going to say that it's at its height because there was a certain time where rap just made you feel different. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So with that being said, I do want to highlight somebody today with my last album review of the season because I believe that they're one of our generation's best people at preserving the culture in so many different ways. So today I want to talk about my man J. Cole and the 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Now, many will probably consider this to be his, best work, and in all honesty, I can't really disagree. There's a lot to really love about this album. It's like a trip down memory lane where 2014 Forest Hills Drive was a house that he was living in for a majority of his life. He even actually went back, bought the house, and then rented it out at low enough rent so somebody could live there without the stress, the worry, and the anguish that he had to deal with when growing up. And that's just so dope. But he's always taking the time to just do certain things like that, not just with people. I mean, he took kids to a trip into like a water park in North Carolina. It was never recorded or never reported on or nothing like that. I mean, he just really loves to give back. And when you listen to him in his interviews or when he just sits on stage and just sits back and just talks to the people, I mean, it's just amazing, like for him to be able to just grab your attention like that, and then what he's speaking to have so much relevance and just so much substance and content. It's so magnetizing. Like J. Cole is, like I said, one of our greatest generational rappers, artists, MCs. And this album right here really highlights a lot of the things that make him what he is. Like, what is it, Fire Squad? Yeah, Fire Squad, where he basically just goes in and tells you, like, look, a lot of y'all niggas done did this, but I'm that man right now. And I like that, because a lot of rappers do that, but not a lot of rappers have the commercial success to literally say, also, I run this part too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just dope that he was able to ascend to this level. It sucks he doesn't really get all the mainstream credit that he's supposed to get, but it'll come. It'll definitely come. But aside from this one right here, I think, and a lot of people don't really rock with it, but Born Sinner is like just one of my favorite albums. I really, really think that he was able to just talk some really witty, clever, biblical themes on there, but just really switch it up with a whole bunch of just cool flows. Like, it was a really, really dope album. And J. Cole is just somebody who I really think that, is great at bringing this old school vibe and feel of what hip hop was and continuing to make it new and to make it cool, to make it relevant, to make it something that is worthwhile. Not just another trend, not just another fad, but lasting, timeless. And I feel like something like this album is timeless. So I just want to say, y'all, I'm sorry if I seem a little emotional, man. Not only is it hip hop's birthday and we're finishing this season, but life is just good. You know what I mean? Life is really, really just good. And it doesn't mean we can't make it better. It just means that sometimes we gotta just stop, put on an album, just enjoy it. So, like I said, This is hip hop. Yo, welcome back. Alright, so today, on our last version of People Who Suck. Man. Well, we kind of talked about them a little bit earlier. I want to talk about detractors and obfuscators. I'm not sure if that last one's a word, but it's what they be doing. And it's people who will go out of their way to insert themselves into conversations or arguments or debates or create a platform just to detract from what's really going on. People who use what Fuckboy 45 will use, whataboutisms, where you're speaking about something like, I think the crimes that our president has committed deserve to be looked at and probably indicted and then put in prison for. And the response could be, well, what about Hillary? And my response is, what about Hillary? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, she could be locked up too for the things that she's done. But it's always a whataboutism that detracts from the initial, point being made. And we do this with so many things. Like, when it comes to media, they're really, really good at detracting from the actual substance of it and just giving you the talking points and the bulletin points. And, well, y'all need to stop. Like, straight up. Like, it's stupid. It's nonsense. Like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of people detracting from what's going on. Or another word that we could use would be obstructing, as far as Mitch McConnell goes, the way that he's doing it. Y'all suck. Like, straight up. Like, I'm glad I waited to the end to tell y'all this, because y'all suck. Y'all really do. We're really trying to have conversations about stuff, but people like the NRA want to insert themselves into the gun conversation because they have a strong contract with gun manufacturers, and then they actually use that to go persuade gun lobbyists to get the Republicans and other people in Congress to vote for things rather than actually talking about a nationwide crisis that we have. And you're detracting from it. You guys suck. I'm sick of always talking about things that have nothing to do with it. Detracting, I'm going to keep saying the word, detracting from what we are talking about. You guys suck. Damn y'all. But anyways, book of the week. So, this book right here, The Lazy Intellectual, is something that I would recommend you read if you want to seem like the smartest person in the room. It's nothing really but a whole bunch of tidbits and facts that lets you see that, this is what they call Baroque music. And it's like, oh wow, this dude is very, very cultured. But nah, I just read a book that, told me that it was a classical form of music that came out at a certain time and stuff like that. So it's a really, really good armchair intellectual type book. It's got some really great facts. It's not going to make you smarter, but it's going to be like, oh, that's cool, that's dope, oh, I like that. So if you want to go to a party and be like, blah, 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 and they'll be like, oh my goodness, this man is deep, get this book, because it'll definitely help you do that. Anyways, y'all, man. Real quick with a feel-good story. I want to give a shout out to a man named Guy Bryant. He has fostered over 50 different men as a single father. Now, I know that sounds weird, but what I'm saying is he has literally changed the lives of 50 different black men by adopting them and getting them onto a straight and narrow path. He's been a coordinator within the community with a couple of different outreach programs that strictly focused on helping young troubled teens, and now he kind of works for another outreach program that's basically trying to find teens and young black adults between the ages of, I believe, 17 and 21, and kind of help them also onto a path. But just the idea of you opening your home and your heart, your resources, your life, everything, and to do it for that many children is just so admirable and something that really, really deserves recognition. So shouts out to you, Guy Bryant. That's just dope, man, right? Like, that's just dope. Cool. So y'all, here it is. That moment that I know we all didn't want to come to. I really didn't want to do this, but I'm gonna miss y'all, man. This shit was just so damn fun, man, to just sit here to talk to y'all and to just, I don't know, go on this journey. Like, y'all seen really the different sides of me. You've seen my emotional sides. You've seen me at my most vulnerable. You've seen me at an angry black man. And I don't know, I feel like we really built a bond, a connection. And I can't wait, you know, obviously for season 2, because we're gonna come back harder, more precise, more raw, a whole bunch of different things. I'm also gonna have a whole bunch of added features. And like I said, it's gonna be a great time. But I am kind of sad that this time is coming to an end. It has been an honor, it has been a pleasure, and it's been my privilege to present to y'all Controversial Conversation. So, until I see y'all again, 2 things. I need y'all to be good. And I need y'all to be great. One love, Jokesta Baby.